시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까, 빠따형 김동영입니다. 자, 여러분들 미국에서 그 데렉 존슨 코치님이라고 코치님들 중에서는 연봉이 가장 많은, 그러니까 데이터를 기반으로 해서 그 선수들에게 정말 좋은 코칭을 해주시는 분이 이 서울 고등학교에 오늘 초빙을 오셨다고 해가지고 좋은 교육을 좀 해주신다고 해서 좀 부탁을 드려가지고 촬영을 하러 왔습니다. 자, 여러분들 어떤 내용으로 코칭과 지도를 하시는지 한번 보도록 하시겠습니다. 가시죠.
Really appreciate it, and I'm honored to be here to talk with you guys today. Honored. I need for one of you or some of you to teach me something. Can one of you teach me how to say swing and miss in Korean? Samjing dao. Got it. Thank you. Awesome. Good teacher. How big a round is it? 9 to 9 1/4 inches around. Does anyone know how much it weighs? 5 to 5 1/4 ounces. Why would I ask you guys that question? You have any idea? I need to know everything that I can know about this. If I'm going to throw it, if I'm going to be good at it, if I'm going to hit it, if I'm going to catch it, I have to know a lot about this, my tool. Right? This is my tool as a pitcher. This is my tool. Once I know everything I can know about the tools that I have to use to be good at the game, then I have to have a mentality, right? The first part of my mentality is that I have to love every second of all of the stuff that I do on the field or in the weight room or anywhere when it comes to baseball. You have to love every second. Everything that you're doing in the weight room, right? Every rep that you take on that machine or any of the machines around here, it's for one specific reason. It's for you to get to a point to where you're a good baseball player. It gets you to that point to where you were yesterday, I'm 1% better than what I was yesterday. Okay, so let's think about that 1%, right? Let's think about that 1%. If you walk out of here tonight and you said to yourself every night, I got 1% better today, all right? If you train, let's say you train 300 days out of the year, out of 365. If you got 1% better each of those days, you'd be 300% better than what you were a year ago. Would you guys take that? Would you want that? You would, right? You'd want that? So today plus today plus today, I don't walk out of here without becoming 1% better. Not 50% better, not 75% better, just 1%. If I can do one more rep, if I can throw 1 mile an hour harder, if my breaking ball, if I can throw it for a strike just a little bit more, if I can make more contact to the ball, like just 1% better every day, right? All the way through the year, 300% better. Think of how you would be as an individual, how much better you'd be as a player, but then also think about how much better you would be as a team, right? If every one of you said, I want to be 1% better, and that's what you worked for, how much better you would be as a team. But that takes this, right? It's not your coaches, it's here, right here, right? It's coming from within you. Right? I think that's a really important point. I've seen a lot of really good baseball players who inside, no big deal. But when it's there, when it's inside of them, they're really good and they help the team. This is what baseball is all about. Right here, this act. Him versus him. Who's going to be better? Who's going to win? Right? That's what all of baseball revolves around. Is him standing at the plate, him standing on the mound, and trying to figure out which one of you is better in that moment. Right? Like, you may be better than him overall, your stats are better, you're one of the best pitchers in Korea. Awesome. He might not be as good a player, who knows? But in that moment, he can win, right? And that's what baseball is all about. It's me versus you on every pitch of the game. But what I'm saying, I'm not after that. I know you're being respectful, but at the same time, in order to play this game, you got to think that you're better than him. It's the only way, right? So that's the mentality and the edge that you have to try to create, right? Like, everyone wants to be a good baseball player. Everyone's training to be a good baseball player, right? How do you separate yourself? Do you know how? Right here. right? That's how you separate yourself. There are big league pitches being thrown all over the world every night at every level. Do you know what the difference is? The difference. The guys in the KBO or the major leagues in the States, they make them more often and they can make them under pressure. Do you guys have any questions for me?
집어서 안 되는 투구폼이나 운동이니까.
Not really, because the way that I look at it is the ball doesn't lie, right? So if you can make the ball do what you want it to do, then kind of if you reverse engineer and you go backwards, it doesn't really matter how they're doing it. I mean, obviously we want to stay healthy if we can. And there are certain things, you know, that you see with pitchers that can maybe keep them, you know, more healthy. But the bottom line is the ball never lies. If they can make the ball do what they want it to do, you know, make it spin different ways or make it move different ways or throw hard or whatever, then that means that they're probably pretty good. On the other side of that, there's another part to that too. A lot of the guys who don't think about their mechanics or their delivery all the time, they have freedom here, right? Instead of internally always kind of thinking about what move they're making, they're just free and easy and loose and they throw the ball, rather than the guy who's always worried about his delivery, thinking that if I do something perfectly, you know, the ball's going to go more where I want it to or whatever. Like, those are the guys, to me, that don't throw as well. The ones who think about their mechanics too much. So we want to work on form, and we care about form, but we have to balance it between form and then just going out and competing. I'm going to give you a story. Greg Maddux, you guys know who Greg Maddux is? Late 90s, mid to late 90s, he throws 102 pitch complete game shutout. And after the game, the news reporter asked him, so Greg, you know, obviously you pitched really well. What do you think about today's performance? You know what he said? 84. 84. What do you think 84 means?
Good.
So no, he threw 102 pitches. He liked the way he thought about and executed 84 of them. There were other pitches that he didn't like. And that's the best part about baseball. Like, maybe he got away with them. Obviously that day he did. Okay, but that's how he thought. Like, going back to your mentality question. For Greg Maddux, it was simple. It was about execution. So in that 102, 84, like, his heart and his soul were into those 84. Maybe his brain on the other ones, gone, out somewhere else. Mad about the last pitch, right? Pissed that he was 2-0. What else?
마이너리그 선수들과 메이저리그 선수들의 기술적인 가장 큰 차이점이
Stuff is very similar. I mentioned it before, and I really believe this. It's mostly about their ability to do it more often, right? So their best fastball, they throw their best fastball a little bit more often and maybe to a smaller area than the minor league guy. For the most part, the hitters at every level, they swing and miss less, right? So they, you know, maybe in A ball, they swing and miss a lot. You know, in Double A, a little bit less, Triple A less, big leagues less. And so for hitters, it's probably just, you know, A, their plate discipline and getting into a good count, hitting a good pitch, but B, it's about, like, they hit the ball more. The difference between a good Double-A player and a Major League player isn't as much as you would think. They do it more often, and they can do it under pressure.
아까 야구를 사랑하는 게 중요하다고 하셨는데 그러면은 사랑할 때 가장 중요한 건 뭐라고 생각하세요?
Like for me, it's that you can't walk away from it. Like, honestly, for me personally, I don't go too long without thinking about baseball or about pitching in some way, shape, or form. Like, pretty much, I don't have any hobbies. You know, I don't go fishing, and I don't hunt. I don't have hobbies. I think about baseball. I coach baseball, and I do it year round. So even when we're not playing, I'm thinking about different ways to play or pitch or grips or whatever. And it started for me when I was 6 or 7 years old. Long time.
야구하면서 휴식도 되게 중요한 부분이고요. 그 휴식 시간에 하는 취미 생활에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지.
Yeah, it's very important, and I don't do it as well as I should. I mean, it's nice when you can get away from it, but I don't have a lot of hobbies. I think about it a lot, but I think you should, especially at your age, you should do other things, maybe.
선수로서 가장 가지고 있을 중요한 것 중에
Guts. I've seen a lot of pitchers who don't have the best stuff, so they don't throw the hardest, they don't have the best breaking ball or the best changeup, but they have this, then yeah, they've got that. You're pitching and the bases are loaded, right? 3-2 on the hitter with 2 outs, and you've got to make a pitch. You guys ever imagine that in your minds? How about as a hitter? Same thing. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded, you're at the plate. Have you imagined that? Let's say that I imagine that 1,000 times in a year. In your last game of the year, you're in that situation. Guess what? You've been there 1,000 times, right? You've been there 1,000 times this year, just by the way that you thought. No, but it's an easy way to practice, right? Like you practice situations. You practice them in your mind so that you're prepared when the situation happens. That's free. Every night you're laying in bed right before you go to bed. Like you're imagining that kind of stuff.
가르쳐 주실 때 제일 중요하게 생각하는 게 뭔지 궁금합니다.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. For me, I have 3 things that I try to think about with every player. I want to be real, I want to be there, and I want to be honest. Be real, be there, and be honest. And here's what I mean by it. Being real is that I want you to show me who you really are. Like your authentic self, who you are as a person, who you are as a player. And I want to do the exact same thing to you. Right? I want to show you who I am and what I am as a person. Being there it's about I got your back. Right? I got your back. I don't know, is that a saying or can you say that? Well, you know what that means? Yeah. You're doing great, I'm with you. You're doing poorly, I'm with you. Being honest is I got to tell you the truth. Right? I have to tell you the truth about what I think about you as a player. Right now, you stink. Right? You're not any good. Right? And I'll give you the reasons why. But I have to give you honest feedback because that's the only way that you become a better player. Is that I'm honest with you. It's like, hey, you know what? You're not doing what you need to do in the weight room. You're not running out every sprint. You're not throwing the way that we want you to throw. Whatever it is, right? I have to be honest with you and say, I need more from you. I need you to be more.